It's important to remember that even though your agency may have had its best year ever, it's a whole new year and a whole new set of objectives. And your agency's plan needs to be updated to reflect that. Hi, welcome. Bobby Fernandez here, performance coach at Agency Performance Partners. And I'm so glad that you joined me today. We're going to be talking about if your agency needs a strategic plan. And fall is upon us, and the holiday season is quickly approaching. And if you haven't done so already, it's not too late to begin your agency's plan. You might ask, does my agency really need a strategic plan? And the answer is a resounding yes. Every agency needs a plan so you can tackle your year effectively and bring your team into the next year with clear goals for what your agency is going to be focusing on. Whether you've already participated in an agency assessment with one of our ridiculously amazing coaches or you're going it alone, our planning guide really is the best place to get it done. Year-end planning is critical to understanding what was accomplished last year, where you might have fallen short, and creating a great strategy for the next year to make sure that you exceed your potential and can celebrate all of your accomplishments. An insurance agency's plan consists of identifying where your agency is today. I want you to think about this like getting on the scale to see where we're at so that we can identify where we need to go and how we're going to get there. You want to get a really good understanding of your metrics and your report so that you can build your roadmap. Make sure that you involve your key stakeholders and get your team's feedback to ensure that you can consider their goals during the planning process as well. Then you'll want to go through the process of identifying your future plans, setting goals, and how to engage your team and build excitement around the future of the agency for the coming year. Then be prepared to execute and track those goals with supporting metrics on the first of the year. Don't let weeks pass you by because you waited to plan. Spend time preparing so you don't have to spend time repairing. Having a well-defined plan moving into the new year helps you really remain focused on goals and not stomping out fires. You'll be able to prioritize your agency's needs and say no to competing priorities, making sure to keep a list for future goals to consider when you're doing your next annual plan. This will really help create clarity for your team, keep them focused on outcomes and not transactions, as well as yourself, and provide better customer experience when you're not spreading yourself too thin with many competing priorities. The state of our industry and the challenges that agencies are facing in this current landscape requires that we have a strategy. And hope is not a strategy. This market is not going away anytime soon. Now is the time to get laser focused on what means most to your agency. Really sitting down and creating your agency's plan will allow you to understand what you're going to need to do as your agency's leader, but also what's going to be required of your staff to support your vision for the coming year. Agencies that are being proactive and creating trusting relationships with their clients are winning in this market. You might be thinking, we are so busy putting out fires that we don't have time to be proactive. And I'd like you to really consider, when was the last time you were in a position where you could be proactive with clients? Your answer may be surprising if you're honest, or may support my next statement, which is, there is never a perfect time to make big changes, and ask your team to stretch outside their comfort zone and try new things. But there is a right time. That time is when you know it's for the betterment of your agency to drive your agency's growth. When developing your plan, it's important to identify realistic goals and targets. Be intentional about your goals and objectives and ensure you don't have too many competing priorities. Stay focused on accomplishing objectives that drive your agency's growth and create a better customer experience. When you focus your efforts on too many things, nothing actually gets done. You can also overwhelm your team because they don't know where to focus their efforts. So be sure to do a few things at a time to make the most impact. You can always add additional goals if you accomplish goals early. Understanding how your team feels about the state of the agency will be helpful in your planning process, as it'll give you insight that you might not otherwise have had. Utilizing our year end team planning questionnaire is a great way to incorporate their input in your planning process. It's important to involve the right people in the decision making process, but that does not mean that everyone needs input, as only you really see the big picture of your agency. You want to make sure to involve key stakeholders in decision making and goal setting processes, but then deliver the goals to your team with a strong, well thought out plan so they can understand how they'll support these goals throughout the year and how progress is going to be tracked, and then how you're going to have fun and celebrate when you crush it. We have our end of the year team planning survey that you can go out and grab for free this month. So, if your agency already has a strategic plan, or if this is your first time creating one for your agency, then you are in the right place. It's important to remember that you want to begin planning during Q4. Don't wait to introduce a plan after the year has already begun. This will allow you to optimize your year for every bit to its fullest potential from the very start of the year. We don't want to waste time. Set time aside at the end of each year to really analyze your agency's performance and conduct a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's critical to be objective and honest regarding your agency's performance so that you can effectively and thoughtfully set goals for the coming year. You want to look at all aspects of your agency's performance, from staffing performance, customer experience, technology, and financial wellness. If you've not downloaded our end of the year planning survey, head there now and grab it, because it's a useful document that will really assist you in organizing your thoughts. After conducting a thorough review of your agency's performance, share the results with your team and celebrate the successes from your current year. Many times you get to see this information and feel really proud of the work that your team accomplished. So be sure to give them the opportunity to feel a sense of accomplishment and celebrate with them the win from this year. This will be important to give them encouragement, as we might be asking them to set new goals for the coming year, and we may need to ask them to do some hard things if you're considering setting some stretch goals for the next year. Celebrate the wins from the current year to get them inspired and ready to take on those challenges in the coming year. Consider your team and what inspires and incentivizes them. It can be anything from a year-end growth bonus to some awesome insurance swag from our online store. Gratitude really goes a long way to build trust, loyalty, and happiness in the workplace. And we can all use a little joy in our day. It's important to remember that even though your agency may have had its best year ever, it's a whole new year and a whole new set of objectives. And your agency's plan needs to be updated to reflect that. The awesome news is also that your agency may have struggled and faced some challenges. And it's now the time to hit the reset button and start with a fresh slate, moving forward into the new year. Each year gives us 365 chances to accomplish new goals. You and your team need to be ready on day one. Communicate that plan across the organization so everyone is aware of what's going to be required of them as they step into that year. This will help them plan and mentally prepare to tackle the next steps. Be sure to assign responsibilities across the team, allowing them to stretch themselves and potentially take on some new responsibilities that will help them grow professionally as they assist the agency in its growth and development. Don't take on every goal yourself. Teamwork really does make the dream work. It allows your team to have a sense of ownership and also feel a great sense of accomplishment when your goals are achieved. Be prepared to monitor progress of goals and how you will obtain the metrics that you need. Share this information regularly and be flexible to potentially make adjustments as needed. Create a really good feedback loop where your team can provide honest and constructive feedback that allows you to make adjustments when needed to keep everyone focused on where you're going. When making adjustments to goals, be sure to communicate what is changing, why the changes are happening, and if there will be any changes to tracking of the data and how the updated goal will be accomplished. Communication is key. And when you think you've communicated enough, communicate again. We recommend that you hold a kickoff meeting with your team to deliver the plan for the year. You want to make this meeting super informative and fun. Insurance is hard, even when we aren't in a hard market. So find ways to have fun with your team, and a kickoff meeting allows your team to get to know each other on a deeper level and work more effectively with a common goal in mind. You may even want to give them a treat. Have some swag for them. Maybe you can have one of our ridiculously amazing coaches, like myself, or Steven, or Kelly, come out and speak at your kickoff meeting. So your team knows that you are invested and you're committed, not only in your agency's strategic plan, but also in them. If you would like to have one of us speak at your kickoff call, you can go out and book a meeting with us now. Be consistent in checking in and evaluating your plan's effectiveness. Depending on your goals will depend on the key performance indicators that you'll want to be tracking. Ensure that you have facts to monitor progress because you can't substantiate feelings. Analyze those results and measure your agency's growth to determine where you're on track or where you're off track with your plan. This will allow you to identify quickly what is working and what is not working so that you can make adjustments. Monitoring performance and backing that performance based on factual numbers will assist in learning lessons that can be applied to future planning cycles. It's never too early to start planning and making notes for the next year, so you can be prepared when that time comes to begin next year's planning. Keep your planning workbook handy throughout the year to keep track of important information that you might want to consider so that it can jog your memory of items that may have come up earlier in the year, later in the year. To bring it into conclusion, every agency needs a plan for a successful year because what doesn't get written down doesn't get done. Get to writing so you can set a clear roadmap to take on that new year. Then share that plan with your team to be accountable to reach those goals. Celebrate and enjoy when you crush those goals, but don't lose focus because meeting one goal means another one is on the way. Make planning a priority so that you can kick your year off focused and not waste a moment of a fresh start. If you need tools and resources to help your insurance agency with its strategic planning, we are here to help. We have a whole course in our school that walks you through the process step by step, or you can work with one of our coaches who can help you guide you through that process. If you'd like, you can go out and book a meeting with us now. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time, and happy planning.